Finding domain and range from a graph, remembering that domain, those are about your x's and ranges about your y's. So the numbers that are involved for domain are going to come off of the x-axis, and the range, the numbers are going to come off of the y-axis. We're going to start off by using an inequality and then switch to interval notation because you're a little bit better right now at the inequalities. So my x's, if I look at this graph, you're really thinking how far left and how far right does this graph go? So see how the graph, the furthest we can go left on the graph is -5, and the furthest we can go right is not quite to 3 because there's a hole. We're on the graph at 2.999, so from -5 to 3, my x is sandwiched between these two numbers. Notice they're coming off the x-axis. And then my x is bigger than -5 or equal to it, but yet it's smaller than 3. These are not, it's from -5 is as far left as I can go, and +3 is as far right as I can go and stay on the graph. Okay, now when we go to interval notation, when something is underlined, that's a bracket. So bracket and then -5, comma, through, and then we're going to go up to 3, and open dot or no underline is a parenthesis. So notice underline, bracket, close dot, bracket, no underline, open dot, no underline, parenthesis. Okay, now we're gonna look at the graph again, exact same graph, but the range, you're really thinking how low can the graph go and how high can the graph go. So all these points on the graph, this is the lowest I can go, and then going up there, that's the highest I can go. My numbers are gonna come off of the y-axis, but notice the lowest is -2 and the highest is 5. So my y's are sandwiched between, and you want to write the smallest number on the left and the biggest number on the right. So from -2 to 5 is what y is sandwiched between. Again, those numbers are coming off the y-axis. Now, at -2, at a height of -2, we're not on the graph because there's an open dot. But as I move up, I'm on the graph. So I'm going to say -2 is less than, and then we're staying on or under 5. If we switch over to interval notation, we're going to have our -2 and we're going to have our 5. We're going to put a comma in between. So from -2 through 5, now the plain less than goes with the parenthesis, and the less than or equal to is a bracket. We're saying our y coordinates are between -2 and 5, including 5. So let's do a couple more of those, a little bit quicker this time. Okay, looking for how far left and how far right can we go? Well, the furthest left I can go is -3, and the furthest right I can go is +3. So my answers for the domain are going to come off of the x-axis. These are x's, and our x is sandwiched between -3 and 3. My x's are bigger than -3, but smaller than +3. Because see how it's an open dot, so I'm on the graph, on the graph, on the graph, but once I get left -3, I'm not on there, and same with right. So interval notation, plain less than is a parenthesis, then -3, comma, through 3, and then parenthesis. I know this looks like a point. This is not a coordinate. This is not back 3, up 3, put a dot. This is my graph is running from -3 through 3. Smallest number goes first, larger one second. Okay, bottom to top for range. The lowest this graph goes is down at -5. And I don't have a solid dot highlighted, but we're on the graph. Solid dot, solid dot, solid dot, solid dot. Everywhere around here is a solid dot. So the lowest I can go for my y is -5, and it's then gonna be on or above, and then we're gonna stay under 4. Now the highest is not actually at 4. We can reach a height of 3.999999999, but we cannot get to 4. So using interval notation, underline, bracket, no underline, parenthesis, small number through big number. Okay, our y values are -5 through 4. Okay, last example here. Okay, going from left to right, what's the farthest left we can move on our graph? See how that's at -2? The farthest right we can go is 3. So the graph is staying between -2 and 3. So my x's go from -2 through 3. When we're back a distance of -2, we're not on the graph. So plane less than. When I get to the right 3, I'm not on the graph, open dot, so I'm going to stay under 3. So all the points on this section have x coordinates between -2 and 3. Using interval notation, these symbols go with parentheses, comma in the middle, and our x is from -2 through 3. Again, that is not a point. These numbers are coming off the x-axis, both of them. Then this one here, looking at the same graph for range, how low can I go and how high can I go? Well, the lowest point on the graph is here, which is at -4, and the highest point on the graph is up here, not quite at 5. It's an open dot, so we can get to 4.99999, a height, but I can't get to a height of 5. When I'm here, I am at a height of -4. So my y value is stuck between -4 and 5, but it's on or above -4, and it stays below 5. Using interval notation, underline, bracket, no underline, parenthesis, small number through large number, -4 through 5.